Your hands are shaking, heart is racing, and your mind goes blank. If that sounds like you when you're giving a presentation or you're on a date, your body actually thinks you're dying. It's not a confidence problem, and it's not just nerves. But you can update it. Today, I'll show you why your brain treats attention like a threat. A three-step reset, disturbing study that proves your fear isn't a personality flaw. It was programmed. And bonus, the exact exercise used by professional Sky TV presenters. And that changed everything for me. But why does our brain treat a room full of cardigans like a tiger about to eat you? For the last year, I attended weekly public speaking classes to find out. And I got the most unexpected opportunity last month. I started this journey because I was tired of faking it until you make it. Well, my heart felt like it was about to beat out of my chest. And I'd rehearse like I was in a courtroom about to receive a lifelong sentence. And at the end, people would say, "You were great, you're an amazing public speaker." But inside, my body felt like it was fighting for its life. And since that, I've now taught public speaking classes for the company whose classes I was attending this time last year. Public speaking is so misunderstood that it's actually the #1 global fear. So at a funeral, more people would prefer to be in the casket than giving the eulogy. It isn't your #1 fear because you're weak. It's because your body thinks rejection equals death, and it hasn't been told the update. Before we can get into the deeper science that actually does update it, what does our body actually listen to? Do this with me right now. Press your toes into your shoes so you can really feel the floor underneath every single toe. Now clench your hands as tight as you can. Go a little bit tighter, tighter, and release. What do you notice? If that's even 5% more grounded or connected, that's your proof. And I'll show you how to turn that into something you can use mid-sentence so you don't panic. But first, why do you think your body responds to you noticing and feeling the sensations that it's giving you? And it doesn't respond to calm down. That is the first clue to resolving, updating this. And to understand why this keeps happening, you only need to remember one thing that most people forget. Your emotional brain is about 200 million years old. Thoughts are slow, sensations are instant. So the part of you that can make slides and understand spreadsheets, that's only about 200 to 1,000 years old. So the thinker is a tiny baby. And when you're in a high pressure situation moment and you tell yourself, it's fine, they're just colleagues, they won't hurt me. That's the same as going to therapy, but your therapist is a toddler. So no matter how smart that toddler is and can intellectualize and plan, it doesn't have the authority to override a 200 million year old alarm system. If you've ever thought, why can't I shake this fear? You're not broken. You're just using an ineffective tool for what you're trying to do. So before we get to the tool that actually works, we need to understand, well, why are these approaches ineffective? And this is where you meet your amygdala, your very own elder living inside your brain. And it has one question. Are we about to be rejected? That might seem unimportant, but for 99% of human history, rejection didn't just mean awkward presentation or someone not texting me back. It meant exile. No tribe, no protection, no food, death. So when you stand up in front of a room, your amygdala doesn't see coworkers. Your emotional brain does not care because it's wired for survival, not TED Talks. This is why you've been failed by traditional advice, like imagine everyone naked. But would you tell someone who thinks that they're drowning to just float or, just be confident? When your body labels something as lethal, you can't think or affirm your way out of it. So the real question becomes, if logic can't turn the alarm off, what does our nervous system actually listen to? And you've already done it. Sensations, you noticing, you feeling. And in a minute, we'll cover the 3-step reset that uses exactly that. Now we've covered why the approaches are ineffective. We need to talk about the hidden programming that made your fear so stubborn in the first place. This is the second most dominant source of learning that we have, apart from evolution. In 1939, researchers at the University of Iowa did something now known as the monster study, because the findings were so severe that the university had to pay out 1 million to surviving participants because the impact to them was so bad. But what did they do? They studied a group of orphans, some of whom had speech impediments, some of whom were fluent, and they mixed them equally. One group was given warm, positive, supportive feedback on their speech, and the other group was told over and over that they were stutterers, that they couldn't speak. So the only difference for 6 months was the label that they received. Children in the stutterer group developed real speech impediments, some of them, and others deep, isolating shame that insulated them with social anxiety for their entire lives. So it wasn't their body creating fear, it was this label they got. And this is where it gets really uncomfortable, because if scientists could rewire these children's brain with lifelong trauma in 6 months with just labels, what did 18 years of labels cost you? You're too quiet, you're too loud, you're too much, you're too awkward. So it isn't your personality. It is a label often inherited from teachers, parents, or even one just really extreme experience. That gave your nervous system instructions. Labels don't just describe us, they program us. So evolution, your amygdala gave you the hardware to survive the tiger, and then your childhood gave you the software to interpret and understand what was happening. You weren't just taught what to fear, you were also taught what you had to do to stay safe. I call these protection identities. These are the roles we all play to secure love, avoid conflict, or hide, stay invisible. Listen to these and see if they land. Maybe you grew up hearing, you're too much, be quiet. The self-editor. Your nervous system thinks visibility, attention is dangerous. Or did you have to earn love, being a hard worker, a good girl, a good boy? Do you now rehearse until you're numb? Or say no mistakes allowed? So public speaking might feel like a pass or fail of your worth. That's the performer. Or do you constantly look to everyone else's feelings, trying to avoid conflict? Because if they like me, they won't hurt me. And that's the peacekeeper. While I was speaking through those roles, was there any tension in your body? Did a specific memory come up? And if none of them resonated, there's a worksheet in the description that goes through a few other roles that are quite common. But if you did resonate with something just now, that is golden, because that is exactly where the software needs to be updated. Now your fear reveal what beliefs it's reaffirming. But the most important rule, name it, because you're not identifying with the fear. You're remembering it's a pre-programmed radio and you're the one holding the mic. So you can change the channel, you can turn it down. And my friend actually coaches Sky TV, professional TV presenters. She told me something that changed how I understand how to practice and update this. Most people think the difference between them and experts is more talent, more confidence. It's not. Their nervous system learned it's safe to be seen, even while being imperfect. And the strongest one, it is essential to be myself. So before we go through the exercise, I need to precurse with something weird. This is not a 30-day challenge, because the moment you call it a time-bound challenge, your brain automatically sets up a belief. If you don't complete it, you're the kind of person that doesn't follow through. And then the spiral begins. The thinking part of your brain, the same one that created those protection roles, that part of your brain loves things that you can win or lose at. It's obsessed with succeeding or failing. It turns the brain into a punishing tool instead of something that's about learning and deepening our relationship. Why? Because it's fed by shame, by criticism, by judgment. Then you end up avoiding it, feeling more guilt, and it's a vicious cycle. It actually distracts you from what you're trying to do. So what happens when we treat it like a 30-day learning window? If the intention is, I just want to learn more about myself, then if you miss something, it's just data. You get to be curious about it, not the shame spiral. Because this upgrade is the one that most people don't even know exists yet. You're not forcing change with willpower. You're creating the most optimal conditions for your brain to do what it's designed to do. So get your phone, set an alarm, a daily alarm, and every time it goes off for the next 30 days, record yourself for 60 seconds. No script, no editing, and don't watch it for the first 30 days, because evaluation is just another thought. And thoughts are how the self-editor sneaks back in. So this isn't about training to be good on camera. We're allowing our nervous systems to experience I was seen with a camera and I didn't die. So you build self-trust, self-leadership. So then by day 30, your brain is updating its neurological connections. If you're thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to prepare my speech even more, that is the biggest trap. And that is where I fell down so many times as well, because the more preparation is just feeding the performer, i.e., I'm only safe if I'm 100% prepared. If I mess up one line, I'm done. That reinforces the old context. But to update the context, you don't need to be more perfect. In fact, you need to be a little bit more unprepared. That's what builds self-leadership and trust, because your audience doesn't just hear your words, they feel your signal, and I'll prove it to you. This is where mirror neurons come in. It's why when a speaker or an actor is vulnerable when they're presenting, we can't look away. It's so endearing. So we think we're just giving a speech, but your brain, your body are also broadcasting. If your amygdala is screaming tiger and you're pretending you're okay, your audience's nervous system will feel it. They'll feel slightly on edge and they won't know why. So what does your audience do? They put on a mask to match your mask. So it's two masks meeting. If you're protecting yourself, their body assumes, well, I must need to protect myself too. That is why fake it till you make it is just not helpful. So let's make this stick the 3-step reset. Most public speaking coaches and courses completely miss. And the reason to make it stick is because your body needs repetition to prioritize it as something important. So you don't need 18 years of repetition to update the old context. Just this very simple, intentional 3-step approach that helps your body to update it. So you can look forward to public speaking. You go after the opportunities you want. So 1, notice. Stop trying to fix the feeling. Just find it. It wants you to find it. Locate it in your body. Next time you're about to speak and your heart spikes, ask, where else is it in my body? Is it hot? Is it spiky? On a scale of 1 to 10, how intense is it? Then ask, and this is a really important question, is there any danger right now? Or am I replaying a thought I've thought for the last 10 years? Am I just indulging in a familiar thought pattern? 2, name it. Language is powerful. So don't say, I am anxious. I am scared. Say, the performer is here. I'm noticing the self-editor is here. I'm noticing my heart is racing. You're not the panic. You're the one observing it. That is like putting down a heavy bag you didn't realize you were carrying. The moment you name it, that protection identity, you stop being fused with it and you can update the context. So the 3rd step, nourish. This is a step almost everyone skips. Your nervous system doesn't need more information or logic. It needs support. So hold that part, talk to that part of you that developed this coping mechanism and meet it like a friend. Remind it of the new context, that there is no danger now, that we're an adult with adult capabilities. And it's safe to be seen as we are. In fact, it's essential for us to be authentic. Then, what we did at the start, pair it with what you feel in your body. Why does this work? Because it's words plus sensation. That is the new safety signal your emotional brain can actually believe. We feel the fear, and then we also feel what it feels like to notice that there's no danger. The goal isn't to never feel fear again. The goal is to just be aware when it comes up. Fear is a part of nature. It has a purpose. And you're not just helping yourself, you're broadcasting that authenticity to everyone in the room. So people don't lean in because you're perfect. They'll lean in because you're present, because that is vulnerability. So the real threat was never the fear. It was the faking. And when you stop performing and allow yourself to be seen as the real you, you send a new message. You say, here I am, judge me, reject me, applaud me, accept me. It doesn't change how I feel about myself. Performance is a mask. Presence is connection. And if you want to map this out for yourself, I have put what do my fears tell me about worksheet in the description. So you can use that to identify the production identity, track the situations that activate your amygdala, maybe even write down your own 3-step reset sentences that are more specific to you. I would love to hear what your experiences of public speaking are, especially because it resonates with me so personally. And I will see you in the next video.